Hi, are you still using the old Mystic skills? It is already version 2.0, so it is time to migrate your Mystic skill to Enlightenment Mystic skills. And if you are exploring the hidden mountains, you should have received a lot of this insight pill to allow you to upgrade your Mystic skill to higher grade. So today I will show you all the mechanics of the Enlightenment skills because some are really rubbish. So you choose wisely which one is suitable for you. And you don't want to waste your resources in upgrading rubbish Mystic's Enlightenment skill. But some are really good that you want to use immediately to boost your power. So let's go. So first is the Guardian's Pumps. The original Guardian's Pumps, you can jump to the top and apply the leap down. But after you upgrading to the new Enlightenment skill, you can no longer perform Guardian Pumps from the mid-air. So it changed to a ground skill and deliver 2 hits and a pumps down. And this upgrade is used to break the tenacity. So what is tenacity? If you look at some skill like the Fire Breath, so when you are casting the Fire Breath, your animation cannot be stopped. So this is called tenacity. You gain the super armor while casting the Fire Breath. So you got the tenacity when you are casting this one. No opponents can stop your animation. So this is called tenacity. And with this Guardian's Pump upgrade, you can now cut down the tenacity. You can stop your opponent's Fire Breath. So this is very good skill. And one more good thing is that after you breaking your opponent's super armor tenacity, you can further deliver 1 hit Guardian Pumps for free of vitality. It's free for you. If you break the tenacity, you can perform 1 more pump skill for free. So this is the perfect counter for Fire Breath skills. So next time when in the PvP your opponent is using a Fire Breath, you can immediately trigger this Guardian Pump upgrade versions to break the tenacity and counter back with 1 more free skill. So this is super good. And not only Fire Breath, actually a lot of martial arts skills that have the tenacity and super power. So you can use the Guardian Pump to counter any skill with the tenacity. So this is super good and you should use this one for your PvP skill. This is super useful. And second is the Dragon Breath where everyone is using, but this one need to be careful. If you look at the original Fire Breath, you have the combustions, and this combustions burning damage, it can be stolen by other players. So when you are casting Fire Breath on a boss fight in a 10-man's PvPs, so your fire damage can be counted to other players if they steal your fire. But with this upgrade, you change the combustion to Smolder. So when you are using the Smolders, so each both calculated independently for the Smolder damage. So that means your damage cannot be stolen by other player now, which solves a lot of the Fire Breath problems. And also the skill animation is very nice. And also this Enlightenment's Fire Breath, it can enhance your Drunken Poet damage. But I already tested the Drunken Poets. Actually the damage increase is quite negligible. I cannot notice the difference because of the RNG and the critical damage. So I think it's more or less the same. But there is a problem for this new skill. In this new skill, you need to hit the opponents 2 times to have the full combustion damage. So look at this one, each hit to the opponent, let's say if you are waving left side and to the right side, from left to right is considered 1 hit. So 1 hit, it produces 4 seconds of DOT damage over time only. So if you hit 2 times, go to the left and go to the right against 2 hits, it calculated as 4 plus 4 damage over time. So you have 8 seconds, which is up to 12 seconds for 3 hits. And if you are confused, so let's look at the real example. So now I'm using the original Fire Breath. So I deliver 1 hit only and deliver the animation card with the parry skill. So look at this one, only 1 hit and animation card. It produced about 41k of damage. So now I use the upgraded versions of the Dragon Breath. If I deliver 1 hit and cut skill with this new Mystic skill, so look at the damage. Actually, it only delivered 23k. It's half the damage, is very low. So you need to deliver more hit with the Fire Breath. So now I'm using a new Mystic skill, so I hit 1 time to the right side and to the left side. So total 3 times here. So look at the damage. So the total damage is now 70k. It's much higher than your cut skill. The bottom line is that if you are using the old versions, you can 1 hit breath then cut the animations. The damage is almost similar for the combustion damage over time. But for the new Mystic skill, you need a full rotations for this Fire Breath. You cannot cut animations to deliver the full damage over time. So this is very important. Also, the cooldown for the originals is only 6 seconds, so after upgrade, the cooldown is now increased to 12 seconds. Actually, the cooldown doesn't matter because the bottleneck for this mythic skill is always your vitality. The cooldown actually doesn't matter, it is okay. So when to use? Then for the PvP, it's best to use back your original Fire Breath because you can cut animation and deliver a quick Dragon Breath with cut animation without shrinking your damage. If you are using a new Fire Breath, it is very hard in PvP to hit your opponent with a full Fire Breath. To hit it is very hard. So in PvP, it is not useful for the new one, so use back the whole one if you are using your PvP. But for the boss fight, actually you can use this mythic skill if you want. Because in the boss fight, you always stand still and do the 2 breaths. Then if you want the new animation, it looks nicer, but if you are doing 2 breaths, you are wasting some time for your mythic skill. So this is a drawback, and also the CD is 12 seconds, but it's still okay. And some say that the damage for the new one is much lesser than the original versions, but I've tested a few runs, I think the damage is almost similar, so because they are very RNG. And the good thing is that if you are using the new Fire Breath skill, so your combustion damage cannot be stolen by other players. So every player in the pen match, when they are using the new Fire Breath skill, so their combustion damage is calculated independently and they don't steal each other. So this is a good thing to use the new Fire Breath in your boss fight. Then next one is your Living Torch. So look at the original versions, it does 3 hits, so each hit use 25 vitality. So look at this one, this is the first hit, just jump forward, then press one more time for the second hit, then press third time for the third hit, which jump to the highest position, so create a large pot like this one. So there's 3 hits. So for the original versions, it's said there's a damage increase, but I think it's very negligible. Then for the new one, so look at this one, if you are taking damage during the fleet, it increases your damage and it cannot be deflected. So what does this mean? So look at this one, if you are breaking the penalties, you can deliver the third hit for free without consuming your vitality. So look at this one, if you get hit by the opponent, you immediately trigger your Living Torch. So this Living Torch, the first hit cannot be deflected. Then after your first hit, immediately press your Living Torch again, you can deliver a free third stage Living Torch. So this is what it exactly means. So this is very good in countering strategic sword, because oftentimes strategic sword has a charge skill to charge forward to you and it hit you without any stun and without any crowd control. So if you get hit by any dash skill from opponent without crowd control, immediately trigger the Living Torch. So in this time, your Living Torch cannot be deflected. If your opponents conveniently deflect your Living Torch, so they are being cheated this time. So when the opponent dash towards you, immediately trigger the Living Torch if you get hit, so they cannot deflect your Living Torch for the first hit. Then immediately press again for the third stage for a free Living Torch without using any vitality. So this is how to use in the PvP. I think this is very useful. Then next one is the Lion Roar. The original Lion Roar only delivers the roar skill only, so you're taking a bell and just finish and then no more. Then if you are using the new upgraded versions, so after roar with the bell, you press one more time, you can deliver one more hit where you take down your bell and kick towards the opponents, so it does extra damage. So the damage is actually not bad, and the bell animation is very nice. And that is good that if you are using the Lion Roar upgraded version, so you kick the bell towards the opponent, you are at a far range, you to combine with your any dash skill like Twin Back dash skill, or combine with your Never Sword Martial skill to dash toward the opponent and deliver the combo. Then the next one is the Dragon Head. Dragon Head, this is a skill, it's a very long animation skill. The old one consumes 100 vitality, and the new one reduces the vitality to 80 only. But this is still a lot, so you don't have so much skill at all times. And with the reduce in the vitality, it will also reduce the damage by 30%. But look at this one, this is the core for this upgrade, this is very useful. So this one, when you are hitting an exhausted opponent, you get double damage. That means that if you are hitting a boss, the boss has 0 key shields, is already exhausted. If you trigger this Dragon Head, you can do double damage, which is really a lot. And look at this one, this is more important. If you have an ally nearby, that means if you are in a 10-man fight, if you have a friend, and your friend also trigger this Dragon Head during the exhausted version, you get boost in the damage by a lot. So if you have 4 allies casting this mythic skill together and together at the same time, you create this surging waves. It actually stack up to 40 timers. So each player stack 10 times. If 4 players cast together, you stack this counter for 40 times. So each counter increase your damage by 1.25%. So 4 players casting together, you have 40 stack, so which produce increased damage of 50%. So each player increase damage by 50%. So that's a lot. And you apply in the exhausted stage, it increase double damage. So 200 times 1.5, it is 303 times damage now. And this is super useful in your boss trial run because you are running out of DPS, running out of time. And also it's good to use in a build Skyborn fight also will need DPS and you need damage. The next one is the ghostly stat. So the new versions increase the vitality from 35 to, so this is negligible, and that has an additional effect applied to the new mystic skill. So look at this one, if you perform a perfect dodge, it leaves an image behind you, and the image can explode and deliver damage. And the damage actually is very huge if you deflect a lot, so you create a lot of image and the image can explode and deliver an AoE damage. And this is very useful in PvP if you are fighting a melee opponents, but this isn't useful if you are fighting a ranged opponent because your mirror cannot touch your opponent, and it's very useful to fight melee opponents like Twin Blast, Callers, and your Hand Blast opponents. And over long run, if you dodge a lot of perfect dodge, you can deal a lot of damage in your PvP. This is additional damage. Next for the Flaming's Meteor, so and the new one you have additional target. It gives you additional target for your flame throwings, and this is not very useful in a one-to-one fight and the boss fight. You can use it in your guild war, so it delivers, so you can hit more target with the javelins, flame throwings, you can hit additional target. So next one is the Honking Havoc. So look at this one, the new one. After casting this skill, after 15 seconds, you can summon a ghost to fight along with you, and this ghost increase your DPS actually by a lot. So look at this one, let me demonstrate to you with the Nano Sword. So the first hit, look at this one, first hit is still within 10 seconds, so there's no ghost summon. Second hit, there's ghost here. Then the third hit, you also summon the ghost. Then fourth hit, also summon the ghost. So look at the DPS. So look at this one, the Honking Havoc, the summons link skill actually delivered 13% of my total damage. So my Nano Sword charge skill actually is the highest damage I ever delivered. So this on top of that delivered 13% from my ghost summon. So this is actually a lot actually. For 10% is really a lot, but it consumes a lot of the vitality, 60 vitality for this skill. So it's best threat to still use the Soaring Spin and your Fire Breath if you are running out of vitality. If vitality is not a problem, you can use this one to increase 13% of your total damage. Then for the Blinding Mist, so this one is also very useful. The new versions, you can stop your opponents to casting executions, and this is very useful for Nameless Sword user because with the Nameless Sword, you always do the wave. Your opponent always deflect your wave, causing you to be exhausted. So your P-Show drop to 0, you are exhausted. So before your P-Show is exhausted, you can cast this skill to stop your opponents to perform the execution to you. So this is very useful only for Nameless Sword user. So that's all. So that's all about the mechanics. Hope this helped you a little bit on choosing which skill. So bye bye, see you next time.